It's that time. Hey guys, it's Kurt, and I wanted to jump out as promised. I told you I'd go live every day this month, and I missed that day. With the emergency at home, but I still want to finish out the month strong. Here it is on the 14th, and folks, today I want to talk about when it goes right. So earlier, some of these lives that I've been doing, I talked about, kind of that equity ask, right? Where someone said, "Oh, do you want to be an equity partner?" And I talked about how that was kind of mishandled a little bit. Talked about the difference in showing up. And we talked about what are the repercussions of not showing up. So that was more of a negative talk, right? I don't want all of these lives to be negative because it's everything's a growth opportunity, but we can also have growth opportunities when we discuss when things go right. So how do we duplicate that? How do we emulate that? How do we learn from others? How do we put someone up on the pedestal they deserve to be on and then make an effort to follow that ourselves? Well, today I want to talk about an experience I had with a company called The Bike Company. The Bike Company is in Orange County, Southern California, and I'm in Corona, Southern California. So last week I dropped off this shock absorber. So this is a shock that goes on my Giant Rain Enduro mountain bike. And when I took this shock to them, this part that you see right here was all the way in the shock. When I rode the bike in Phoenix, it just compressed the rear down and wouldn't work anymore. The shock absorber had blown out. So I took it to them. I called them first, told them I was on my way, and they said, well, the guy that works on the shocks, he supports a race team, and he might be out a couple of weeks, so we might not get it back to you until July. And I waited, and I said to myself, well, do I want to do business locally and support a local small business, or do I want to put this thing in a box, run it down to the UPS store, send it up to Northern California to Fox to have them work on it, and then have them send it back to me? And I looked up the pricing, and the pricing was relatively the same. And so I was like, okay, I don't need to. I don't need to go that route. I'll stick local, and it'd be about the same time anyway. So I'll stick local and I'll take it over to the Bike Company. So I went over there, and when I went in there last week, and I may have said something on a live about this, but I did say something on a live about this. I just don't remember which day it was. We walked in, me and my son walked in, and we got helped immediately. Walked in, hey, welcome to the Bike Company. How can we help you? I was like, are they taking my training? So then I said, oh, hey, I called earlier. I got this shock to drop off, Oh, yeah. Hey, man, glad you made it. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Okay. So this guy's helping me. He takes the shock and he's looking up the parts and he's making sure, he's writing up the repair order and he's doing his thing. And I said, hey, while you're doing that, I'm going to look around just a bit. The guy next to him had finished with a customer and said to my son, hey, did you need a hand with anything while he's helping your dad? And I was like, oh, that was good. That was real good. And my son's like, no, I'm just hanging out with my dad. And so we're walking around the showroom and a mechanic comes out of the back of the shop and he sees us and he's notably happy to see a customer in the showroom floor. It wasn't like one of these, oh, what do they want? It wasn't like that, right? He comes up and he goes, hey, are you guys okay? Have you been helped? Can I show you anything? This is a mechanic. Works in the back of the shop, turning wrenches. Now, there's business owners that I work with that would freak out if they knew a technician had gone up front to talk to a customer. And, I need you to be productive. I need you turning wrenches. I need you making money. We don't make money unless you're working. There is that. But there's that other side of the coin where if they had a gap in the work, if he was waiting for parts or something like that, and then he's productive and efficient with his time, comes up and greets a customer and helps establish that relationship, that's gold. That's gold. So this was last week. So last week, I'm in there and I said, hey, my son's getting bigger. I'm probably going to graduate him to my mountain bike. And I probably need to start looking at a replacement mountain bike, but I can't get one until like summer, maybe even after summer. I said, so what brands do you guys have? You guys have this Nuke Proof thing. You got this other brand over here that it's like Moore Park or something like that. I said, I've never heard of those. Can you tell me something about those bikes? Guy goes, boom. We're having a demo day next week. Nuke Proof is coming in, bringing their demo fleet, and they're running a demo event for 3 days next week. Man, I'd love to put you in a slot. You want to take one out and ride one? I just told you I wasn't going to buy a bicycle until after the summer. That doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, come check it out, man. We'd love to get your feedback on it. Oh, okay, sure. Put my name on the list. So he puts my name on the list. And by the way, I see that someone signed into the live here. So if you're new, don't sweat it. Pop in a comment. Tell me your name, where you're from. I do these almost every day now. So just pop in, say hi, let me know where you're from, and I'll we'll engage, we'll talk, we'll chat. And back to the story. I got a phone call 2 days ago, and it said, "Hey, you're still coming in for the demo ride on Wednesday, right? Wednesday being today." And I said, absolutely. Yeah. What time do I need to be there? Okay. This is what you need to bring. You need to bring your pedals, your helmet, bring an ID, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, okay. And I was like, hey, they're doing it right, because they got my commitment in person. They made an appointment for me. And now they're calling 2 days before the appointment with a, hey, what should you bring? Which is good customer service, but it's really a confirmation that slot is filled. And so they're not going to put other, like, they're not going to, like, let's say I didn't show up. Well, there'd be an asset sitting there not getting used, and someone else could have reserved that spot, right? And so you look at it from what they're doing. That's really, really smart. Now I'm going to give you another one. Hello from California, Dennis Reed. Dennis, I also am in California. So I am down in Corona. And Dennis, where are you from, man? I'll say here, what part of Cali? What part of Cali? Going back to Cali. So yesterday I get a call. Hey, your shock is done. What do you mean my shock's done? You told me I wouldn't get my shock back till July. So you told me I wouldn't get it back until July. I left it with you anyway. You're giving me a free mountain bike to ride for the day. By the way, the demo ride is not some babysat going around getting led around a donkey trail. Open Vallejo. Cool, man. Good. So do you mountain bike up there? I'm just asking questions now. Look at me, I'm all distracted. I'm so hooked on the mountain biking. And so they said pick up the bike, right? So it's not a guided tour, right? Pick up the bike, sometime like 10:15, and just, have it back by 4:30. What? Like that all day with a $7,000 bicycle? Okay. And so they call me the day before and they say, hey, your shock is done. Okay. I said, well, I'm going to be doing the demo day tomorrow. I'll just pick up the shock then. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. When I walked in, remember the beginning of this story. How many times had I been to this shop? How many times? Just once. I've only been to the shop once. Now I have an appointment, and someone called me about the appointment and someone called me about the shock. Okay. So we've got these contacts here, but I've only been in the shop once. I pulled up at 10:15. He rides a Harley Davidson. That's all right, man. 2 wheels, all about it. I'm even wearing a shirt about it today. Moto Manufacturing. Moto Manufacturing makes aftermarket tools for Ducatis. I used to be the Ducati technical trainer for North America, so Canada, United States, and Mexico. And then after I left Ducati, I went to Suzuki, and I was the training and publications manager at Suzuki for 4 years or so. So yeah, I'm real deep in power sports. I own a company called the Power Sport Academy, and I train motorcycle dealerships how to increase their service business. So that's one of the things that I do outside of my WordPress agency and stuff like that. Harleys are awesome too. Don't get me wrong. I used to trade back in the day when me and my wife were dating. I had an R1, Yamaha R1, and my friends had Harley Sportsters, and we would trade. My buddies loved riding the sport bike, and my wife loved riding on the Harley. And so we'd trade for the weekend, and then I'd take her up to, this is when I lived in Colorado, and I'd take her on like day trips up to Estes Park and back. And it was cool. I really enjoyed it. And I was a Rider's Edge coach for like 5 years. So I used to work with the Harley Davidson dealership down there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and teach with them for about 5 years. I loved it. Harley's a great brand. Anyway, I walked back into the bike shop, and 10:15, and they go, "Hey, Kurt." What? Folks, I'm telling you, everything I'm telling you in this story is when it goes right. There's so many things to take away from how this business, it's a small mom and pop shop. It's not like some big chain. This is how you do business. They gave me a quote, and remember, it was like, be careful not to don't set the expectation super high and then come up short, right? They set the expectation fairly low, and then they killed it. They got my shock done 2 weeks early. So that's one thing. They kept in constant contact with me. Perfect. They knew my name when I came back to the store. Now, we all know I'm probably on a screen somewhere. Like, I'm going to show up at 10:15 to ride this bike. The thing is when I walked in the door, they had the tools in place to recognize me and call me by name. So then Graham is the guy that took in my shock, right? And so when I walked up, the guy said, "You're here for the demo day, right?" And then Graham bumped in and he goes, "Hey, we also fixed his shock. I think that's ready to go." And so, boom, they were right on it. Went and got the shock. I paid them out for the shock. They got me all suited up, ready to go for the demo ride, introduced me to the Nuke Proof demo guys. Those guys did everything right. So the demo was being run by the Nuke Proof bicycle company at the bike company dealership. Just trying to put this in the right perspective. So I'm dealing with two different companies on a similar transaction. They had iPads on point to sign in, sign off on the waiver, put my pedals on, ask me my weight, my height, set the seat, set the tires, set the suspension, asked me if it was comfortable, put me on a rig to check the suspension sag with my weight on it. And then beyond all that, they were personable, friendly. They engaged in conversation, asked me where I was going to ride. What kind of riding do I like to do? Hey, maybe you want to try riding the Reactor instead of the Mega. In fact, why don't you take the Mega because that's what you signed up for. And if you want to ride the Reactor after that, which is a lower travel bicycle, it's a different one. But he's like, if you want to ride that, you can. We're going to be here for 3 days. We've got some open slots. If you want to schedule another ride and come back on Friday, you could do that too. Folks, everything was going right. And I just want to drive that home as much as I can. I work with a lot of businesses. Yeah, I agree with you, Dennis. Dennis says it would be nice if my service riders were more like this. Absolutely. It would be nice if my service riders were more like this with our customers. Yes, absolutely. When I say that this all went right, you have to understand that when I train, when I work with motorcycle dealerships and help them increase their parts and labor sales, I go in and I listen, like, how do they answer the phone? How do they write a repair order? Are they trying to pre-diagnose at the counter, or are they letting the technicians diagnose the motorcycle? When they sell a job, are they selling the job based on needs versus wants, or are they trying to just tell everybody, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this, do you want to do it or not? Because there's a way to sell a job, right? There's a way to upsell a job. And this shop did everything right. It was pretty mind-boggling to me. Now, right after I got the bike loaded up in my truck and I was ready to go ride this thing, I had a coaching call with Timothy Morgan of Giver Marketing. It was a one-on-one. Him and I do a little bit of an exchange with each other, a little co-coaching. And folks, this was another example of everything going right. Like, Tim and I, we have a friendly relationship, but we also have a business relationship. And we get on the call and it's, how are you? How are you? Boom. Get that out of the way. Okay. What's your subject of concern? Let's discuss it. Look at the time. Be responsible. Close it down. What's your discussion of concern? Right? Give it ample time. Shut it down. Check the clock. Are we good with each other? What are our action items for the next call? This is how we're going to move forward. Are you psyched? Am I psyched? Are you having a good time? I'm having a good time. Thanks, brother. Boom, out. Like, perfect. I coach people so much on communication and leadership. Like the talk I'm going to give for the Marine Retailers Association in December. It's what is the concept of action leadership in a service department? So we go through, like, what is action leadership? How does this work? How do you manage your department instead of your department manage you? What I saw at that bicycle shop today was, I only saw the two dudes in the showroom today, right? So there's two dudes in that showroom. Those two dudes are managing that business. That business is not managing them. Like, there's not all these fires to put out and angry customers and phones ringing off the hook and chaos and mayhem there. I've been there twice now, and both times that I've been there, there's inventory, there's customers, there's activity. So it's not some dying shop that doesn't have any business. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is these individuals at this particular business are able to manage the business instead of the business managing them. They have it all under control. They are organized. They have a clue what they're doing, and they have a purpose. And some people will look at that and go, it's a job at a bike store, duh, right? Or, oh, you're just flipping burgers. Or, oh, really? You're driving Uber? And we make these mental generalizations. But if you do any of those things that I just mentioned at a high level of efficiency, performance, productivity, folks, that drives margins, that drives profit, that drives success. And it takes you to the next level of whatever the next level is. Well, I see people are still signing into live, which is amazing. But you know what? It's late. I wanted to make sure I went live and had a message for you today. And I really felt like coming at you positive. Like, it was just a day of everything going right. Now the camper van's done. And I talked to the guy that fixed the camper van at that shop, spent that shop for a long time. I'm going to say that one didn't go quite as well. Maybe that'll be the topic for tomorrow. But we're 18 minutes in. I'm going to check out. Have yourselves a great, great, great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Dennis, I'm glad that you popped in, man. And I want to say, I think we know each other. Do we know each other, Dennis? Hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me up on LinkedIn Messenger or something like that. For some reason, I'm thinking is it Joey or Baron that put us together? Might be Joe. Anyway, folks, I'm going to bow out. I have an adult beverage here that I am going to enjoy and have a nice chat with my wife to round out the day. And I pray that you have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye.